Hi, welcome to the podcast. My name is Kristen. We are in the studio this week. Whoa. We're in an industrial area, so there's lots of trucks and things going past. So it's going to be a little bit noisy. I've got the doors closed, so hopefully that'll help. But yeah, so I decided to start filming now in the studio since we are doing this area up. So we had a sale last week, which meant most of our yarn has sold out. I do have a little bit of yarn left, which you can see behind. I'll show you, I've got another yarn case here. I'll keep going around. That's our packing room. That is the window to the packing room, and that's a trestle table which we're going to be stocking with stuff. And that's the office. Going around. That's the front door. And then back again. So yeah, we are in the process of getting this area set up, and I need to get a few more things for this area. I want to get a grid wall to hang some yarn and just stuff. So yeah, it's going to take a little while to get all this area put together, but once it is, this is the area that will be open up to the public to come in and buy yarn. Still working out what days that will be. Initially I thought maybe 3 days, but now I'm thinking maybe 1 because I'm just so busy. Like, I pretty much die every single day apart from Friday, which is today. It's more of an admin day, so it's probably good for me if I have people coming in Friday because I'll have time to be sitting in here. So anyway, I'm working it out as I go. But yes, so it's really nice to actually be here in the studio. Yeah, it's been a very long time since I actually did a podcast in the studio, so yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get started. I've got lots of whips, I've got a finished object, and then I'm going to show you some yarn at the end. So yeah, let's get into it. I just wanted to say that because I haven't filmed in here before, I'm not sure if this is the best place to sit. I might have to bring out some softbox lighting. I don't know. I'm going to see how this goes when I edit it. It's just that this was the best place to kind of do the podcast with the yarn behind me. But the only problem is the door and the windows just behind there. So I am getting a bit of flashing of light come through. So I hope that's not going to be a problem, but we shall see. Anyway, apologies if it is. I'll know better next time when I do a bit of editing. Yeah. Anyway, first whip is the Hipster Shore by Locatelli, and this has been getting a lot of attention this week. I think last time I said it was called the Hitchhiker, which is not right, it's another shawl. But no, this is a Hipster Shore, and that's it there. This has been on my to-do list for a very long time, and I'm so glad I'm knitting it. It's a lovely pattern. It uses worsted weight yarn, and so it's actually a really quick knit, although you do use, I think it's 4 skeins of worsted, so it's quite a lot of yarn, but it's a big shawl. So this is what I've done so far. This is in our Neptune colourway, which is a tealy blue and sort of overdyed with a little bit of black. It's really nice. I really like this colour. I'm more into dark colours myself. I've got to be careful when I dye colours for the shop because I tend to veer towards the darker shades. But anyway. Oh, what's happened there? Nothing, it's fine. So, what can I say? I've really enjoyed knitting this shawl. I did have issues when I did the first lot of drop stitches. I had to do it twice before I understood what I was meant to be doing. So basically you're doing yarn overs on one round, and on the one row, and then when you come back along that row you're dropping yarn overs, and then you're crossing stitches. So initially when I did it I completely stuffed it up, and then when I undid it, ripped back and started again, I got it, and it was fine. And then I put down the shawl for quite some time, and I came back and I had to do the drop stitch pattern again, and then I forgot how to do it, so I had to rip back again, and then the second time, well, third time, lucky, I understood what I was meant to do. And it is actually a really easy stitch pattern. It's just sort of getting your head around it. Once you get it, you got it. It looks great. I love the look. Hockey's, you know, really good with sort of modern design, and I just really like her style. So really enjoying it. I've used 2 skeins so far. I have 2 skeins left. In fact, I think, so that's all I have left for the one that I'm on, so I need to swap over. And I'm almost done with the second repeat. I have half of another repeat left, so I actually might be able to get away with doing this shawl with 3 skeins, but I'll let you know. Of course you're adding stitches as you go, so it's getting longer and longer, and you do need more yarn, so I might actually have to break into that 4th skein, but we'll see. But yeah, really enjoying this, and I can't wait for this to be finished so I can wear it. So my second whip is the vanilla sock that I'm knitting with the Regia yarn. I did find out what colourway this was. It is the Fall Night colour, and it's number 09135. And it's a faux ferrule in these lovely colours, very wintry, autumnally. It's really pretty. I am really enjoying this. This is an Arnie and Carlos colour. It's one of their collections. And yeah, I have gotten quite a lot done. I just pick this up when I'm really tired and I just don't really need to concentrate on knitting it, because socks for me, particularly vanilla socks, they're just so easy. I don't need to think about what I'm doing, I just do it. That's the ball band. That's the ball. So this is a perfect skein where you pull from the inside first to knit your sock number 1, and then you start from the outside for sock number 2, and you get 2 exact pairs of socks. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying it. My next whip is the Mount Juliet Shawl by Helen Stewart. I saw this on her Instagram page and I really liked it. I think this was made for the Knitting Pipeline retreat. But yes, it's just a very simple pattern of twisted rib, garter stitch and simple lace. And this is it here. I'm using our top drawer sock in the Sea Spray colour and Golden Hour colour. So it's a very pale blue and yellow. It sort of reminds me of, I don't know, a vintage sort of beachy postcard. I don't know why, but I'm really enjoying it. I haven't given this much attention because I am trying to finish off the Hipster Shore first. But once I get that done, then I'm going to power on with this. And yeah, Helen's patterns are always wonderful, as you know. They're really easy to knit. She has the table where you just tick off each row that you do. It's great. It's also easy when you want to put down projects, and then they're really simple to pick back up because you know exactly where you are. I use, what's it called, the knitting app, can't think of it. I'll put the name below. And I use their markers when I do it, and I just press the screen and mark where I am, so I know exactly where I am when I pick it up. Yeah, it's I really enjoy that app. I was lucky enough to purchase it before the subscription, so I just get it for free. But I think now if you want to use the app, you have to subscribe to it and pay a monthly fee. But yeah, I haven't got a lot to say with this except that I'm really enjoying it, and yeah. So the next project that I'm working on is The Weekender by Andrea Mowry. I have I've knit a fair bit on this. It's one of those projects that the body is 14 inches of stockinette stitch in the round, and it's oversized, so it kind of feels like every row takes a million years to complete, so it's taken a long time to get where I am, but I'm finally up to working the, I think it's the back section, so I've split it now, and where am I? This one. You can't really see it because basically you're meant to put the stitches that you're not working on onto a holder, but I'm just keeping them on the cable, and I'm working the back and then just holding the front on the cable because the cable is so long that it doesn't really matter. But yes, it just looks like a skirt at the moment, but that's it there. I'm using our winter worsted in the colourway Close to Me, which is, yeah, it's again sort of a dark sort of black and with lighter areas of pink and blue, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to finish it. Yeah, I don't really have a lot more to say about this except, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Oh, I should say this is the outside because you're knitting it inside out because it's actually reverse stockinette. That is what you will see when I'm finished. That's the right side. Yeah, enjoying it. Again, it's really, really simple knit, just back and forth. Yeah, hopefully I shall have maybe the front and back done next time I speak to you. Hopefully I'll have it finished because I can't see it taking too long now that I've split for the fronts and backs. And I think once I do the back and then I do the front, I think you join it and then you just do the sleeves, and because it is worsted it will take no time. So yeah, really enjoying it. I wanted to mention also that I was sent a review copy of this book, Kiko Okamoto, Japanese Knitting Stitches. It's a stitch dictionary. I was sent this to review by New South Books, which is connected to the University of New South Wales, and they are a distributor for Tuttle Publishing, which translates Japanese, I'm pretty sure Chinese as well, books into English. They have, New South Books have a really good supply of Japanese knitting and crochet books. They sent me last year about the same time a book to review, which was fantastic. That was a Japanese knitting book. This one is obviously a stitch dictionary, but I just thought I'd quickly show you some things because it's such an interesting book. So Kiko is a Japanese knitwear designer, and she is known for her interesting stitch patterns. A lot of them are very innovative. I actually haven't seen any of her actual knitwear patterns, but I imagine they'd be really interesting to knit. So I'll show you the contents. So this is what it includes. You get, you have overall patterns, you have smocking, open work patterns, colour changing patterns, stranded patterns, patterns with bobbles, patterns with crossing stitches, 3-dimensional patterns, lace motifs, edgings, and then you have the garments and projects at the back. So Japanese patterns, I don't want to give too much away, but they're written as symbols. So they're all charted. So if you like charted designs, these are really good. There is no written directions. Of course, their stitch symbols are a little bit different to ours, and you have a really good stitch sort of outline in the back, a key, I guess you call it, in the back. And as well as that, they also give you diagrams of how to do it. So it's really, really good. Now, what I really like about this book is the innovation of the stitches. So a lot of the stitch patterns involve colour work, and that's huge at the moment, as we know. But the way that Kiko has done her colour work, it's very, very different to what we're used to. So she has this section of smocking stitches, and basically, what's a good example? What she's done here is she's done a simple pattern of, I think it's like a ribbed pattern, a knit and purl. Yes, it is. It's 2 pearls, 2 knits, so just a 2x2 rib. And then she's done a smocking pattern, and by smocking it means like cinching in the stitches with a contrasting yarn. There's another example. So you're going back and actually using a different colour to create colour work on top of the fabric. So that was really interesting. What else? She has a lot of slip stitch colour patterns. They're quite big at the moment, slip stitches with the different colours. I love these. Also, they have like samples of Farrow, which if you're interested in designing, it's always nice to have some inspiration. She has also these 3-dimensional stitch patterns where you're actually knitting on top of the stitches that you've already knit, which is quite fascinating as well. There's lots of bobbles. I also really like these ones at the back. They're lace motifs, and you do a crocheted chain to start it, and then you pick up where the crochet is, the stitches, with knitting needles, and then you start knitting. Kind of reminds me a bit of Elizabeth Zimmerman and Brooklyn Tweed. It was around the time I'd started knitting, and Brooklyn Tweed had done this beautiful jumper based on a similar pattern. I mean jumper, blanket. So I really, really like these. They're so pretty. I mean, I could see a circular shawl or a blanket if you just wanted to extend that stitch pattern. Yeah, it's beautiful. And of course, I really enjoy edges, looking at different edgings, particularly for shawls, but also jumpers and things like that. It's just interesting to have something a little bit different, and this book has lots of them, and again, they're in colour work. So yeah, if you're interested in stitch dictionaries, I highly recommend this. There are some finished garments at the back, some projects that you can do. I actually quite like this one. I don't think I would ever knit it, but there's something about it that I really quite like. The other garments aren't really items that I would probably knit, but I like just being able to see some of the stitch patterns in bigger designs. That's it there. So yeah, it's really, really good. I can't remember now. It was, I think it was like $23, I think it was, the book. I will check and I'll put it down below, from New South Books. But yeah, I mean, if you can find this online, it's from Tuttle. I'm sure you can buy this in America at a bookstore. But yeah, I highly recommend this. It's a really good book to have. Okay, so finished object. I actually finished my party top. This is by Abbyeknits. I'll bring it closer. Ugh, that's probably too close. So I knit this using our DK weight. It was actually the Uptown DK, and which we don't stock anymore, but I mean any DK will work. It's a very basic raglan project with eyelets on the sleeves. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. And then of course the twisted stitch for the hem and on the neck. Yeah, I really enjoyed knitting this. This was super duper quick because it is cropped. I did actually lengthen the hem by about an inch or two. My body length is actually longer than most people's, so if I had just finished the rib where it would have been like way too short. And I also had a little bit of yarn left over, so I pretty much knit until I finished my yarn and then I bound off. But yes, it fits really nicely. It is a fitted jumper, so it's a negative ease of 2 inches. I'm a 34-inch bust, so I think I knit the 32. Yeah, it was a quick knit, but it was weird because and I mentioned this last podcast, when I was knitting it, it looked so small. It looked like a children's jumper when I was knitting it. I'm so used to knitting boxy, oversized jumpers that when I knit this, yeah, it was really small. And even when I showed Paul, I said, oh look, it's knitting up really nicely, because I loved how the colour was knitting up. And he said, wow, that looks a bit small. And then I thought, uh-oh, because I was thinking that myself, but then when somebody says it to you, kind of alarm bells ring. And I didn't gauge swatch, although when I did start knitting the yoke, I did measure just before I got too far into it, and it was on gauge. So I did try it on after I split for the sleeves, and it fitted really nicely. So yeah, I just kept going with it, and it fits perfectly. It really is nice. I even did a couple of decreases just down the sides. That's in the pattern as well. Yeah, it was a great knit. The colour I used is Passion, and I'll just have a couple of skeins here. This is our Uptown sock, so it's the same colour. Knits up really nicely. I did alternate skeins because if you don't, it will, I think, pull. What else? Not much else really. I really enjoyed it. I have a high-waisted skirt that I can wear this with. It looks really nice. I do have high-waisted jeans, but it tends to pull up at the front, so that's not too great. But again, if you have like a dress or a skirt, yeah, it looks really nice with that. So yeah, it's completely wearable, and I really like it. So yeah, that's Abbyeknits. If you're interested, go check it out. I also wanted to mention what I'm wearing today. This is the Odyssey Shore by Locatelli. I knit 2 of these. One of them went to my mum, and this is the one that I kept. So Odyssey Shore is such a good project. Like I said, I've knit 2. I could knit many more. You just basically need 3 skeins that coordinate well together, and yeah, that's it. 3 skeins of DK. some people have had some issues with the eyelets, and this was my first attempt at the Odyssey, and I did stuff up the middle section of the eyelets. They still look fine though. But yes, I like it. It's really, really nice. It's very cozy to wear in winter, and it gets really cold here in the studio in winter. Just until about lunchtime it's cold, and then it gets hot because the sun comes in and it actually warms it up. But yeah, it's really nice. I actually keep this here and I wear it. It's really, really nice. I should mention the colours. So I knit this using our Honey colourway. This one here is Handsome Devil, and then this one is Typo. So yeah. So I'm going to be talking about shop stuff now, just about new colours that I've put on the shop. So if you're interested, that's great. If you're not, totally fine. I'll see you next week. But this week so I did mention, I think a couple of episodes ago, that I completely threw out all of our old colourways. Well, not threw them out, but I decided that I wanted to change our colours. I also was using a new dye technique, so the colours would have looked similar but not the same, and I didn't want people who had the old colourways ordering more and then they're completely not matching. That just wouldn't sort of work. So I ended up taking all of our old colourways off the shop and then starting to add new colours, and I don't know really what I was thinking at the time, because it's a lot of work. It's been quite a journey. Starting from the very beginning is hard. I mean, there's so many colours that I want to add to the shop, but it takes time because I have to develop them, and yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I also had an idea of what I wanted the new colours to be, sort of a look, sort of a feel of a natural sort of colour scheme. Yeah, it's been a lot of work, but I'm sort of finally getting to the point where I feel happy with what I've got, and now I'm just sort of filling in the gaps. So that's what I did with this update, was I was adding some more lighter colours. Like I said earlier, I tend to veer towards dark colours, and I've got to be very careful because when I'm in the studio and I'm dyeing, I tend to darken a lot of the colours, and I need to put more lights in, and that's particularly important for colour work too. You need that contrast of light and dark. So that's what I've been doing. So I've done speckles and I've done more semi-solids, and next week I have our Daintree yarn, which is our bamboo sock. It's very, very popular. That's going in next week, and I've actually dyed up a few new colourways for that update as well. Again, just filling in gaps of what I can see colour-wise. Again, what I tend to do is I'm very drawn to purples and pinks, and when I'm dyeing up colours, particularly speckles, I just always want to put a purple or a pink in there, and I've got to really stop myself. So you'll see a lot of these speckles have purples and pinks, and I was cognizant of that when I was doing the when I was dyeing the yarns, but for some reason they got in there. So anyway, so these are the speckled yarns that I have, and these again are all on Top Drawer Sock. Now Top Drawer Sock is a mix of 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. There's 400 meters in 100 grams. The superwash merino is a extra fine, so it's really, really soft. This is our oldest base. This one and our merino cashmere are both our oldest bases, and they're lovely. I love them. I love dyeing them and I love knitting with them. So this is one colour that I put on Instagram, and lots of people really, really liked it. This one's called More, and it's sort of has that sort of heathery thistle purple and mossy greens. It's really pretty. I have that one. Labyrinth, which again, purple. You'll start seeing a theme here. Shibazakura, which is Japanese, it's like a flowery, mossy festival that they have there, and I'm pretty sure it's near, what's the volcano in Japan? Oh, it's just gone out of my head. Anyway, that's where this festival is held, and that's what this reminded me of. It's again pink and mossy green. This one called Santorini Sunset, and I really like this one. It's got the aqua, which is really popular at the moment, and pink and little speckles of rust. And then the last speckly one is Bougainvillea, and again mossy green and pink. Hello, can't help myself. And there's also purple on that one too. Don't worry, next week I have dyed up colours other than pink and purple. So these are the speckles for this week. And then I dyed up some semi-solids. This one is my favourite, and I really want to knit something with this. I'm thinking of Love Note by Tin Can Knits, and yeah, that one is, I'm pretty sure that's a DK or is it fingering, I can't remember, but it's mixed with mohair, so I'd have to think about which mohair I want to use, what colour. But this one's called Henna Blush. I love this so much. I've been wanting this colour for so long, and every time I did it, it either went too brown or too corally, but this is, yeah, very happy with the mix of this one. And then I did a lighter version, just in case, you know, for colour work. This one's called Blush. So they work really well together. And then I sort of thought I need a few more greens in the shop. So oh, this is a speckly one. This is Pandanus. Sorry, I should have showed this one with the speckles. I actually did one that wasn't pink. It does have purple in it though. So this is a sort of a ferny green with aqua. Back to the semi-solids. This is Oyster. It's a very pale silver with just a hint of green. And then I have Shine, which is bright yellow. I love it. So it makes me so happy, yellow. This one called Air, and again, this is a darker version of this one. So, oh, this one's a bit more grey, but I was thinking more for colour work. And then Pink Tourmaline, which is very pale pink with sort of an overtone of silver. It's very pretty. So yeah, these are great to mix and match. Just pull a few that I like. I mean, really, there's so many combinations that you can do with semi-solids and speckles. And again, there's so many patterns. I mean, shawls, jumpers, particularly Caitlin Hunter, a lot of her patterns mix semi-solids and speckles really nicely. Oh, I'm trying to think of that pattern that she did. Just check. So yeah, the pattern I was thinking of was the Novelli. This easily put together something, just choosing a light and a dark and a bright. I mean, yeah, it's just so many things you can do with these colours. I really love these two together. And of course you can do a kind of a cooler tone. Mix the Oyster Air, and maybe you could do Santorini Sunset. or pandanus. That looks really pretty. Could even more, looks really pretty as well. So yeah, lots and lots of new colours coming into the shop, and I can't wait to start dyeing up lots more yarn, particularly DK. I have the bamboo sock going in next week. I have sport coming after. I'm pretty sure I might do a custom order too, so for those of you who like to order your own yarns in the quantities you like, you might want to keep an eye out for that in a couple of weeks. Yeah. So I hope you're all well, and it's really nice to be able to podcast here in the studio. Paul's actually at home. I can't podcast when he's in the other room because I feel silly talking to the camera. I don't know why, but I've got to get over it. But anyway, he's at home today, so that's fine. Yeah, anyway, hope you're all well, and hope you enjoyed having a little tour of this little room, and yeah, I will talk to you next week. Bye!